I feel like I was lied to. I feel like everyone told me your calling is going to be like some GPS that's going to lead you to this 5-star hotel. And it hasn't been like that, for sure. I mean, if anything, I realize it's been the opposite. I think of Abraham, like in the Bible. God called him to this promised land. And you would expect that the promised land would be amazing and there would be no issues and even the journey to get there would be fine. But God led him to famine and a tent. That seems far from what we expect to be like the promise, right? And what I realize in that is this. It's very, very simple. It's that we think safety equals control. Like, if we're honest, safety is kind of synonymous for control sometimes, right? I seek safety because I want to be in control. I want to be the master of my ship, the teller of my story, the director of my path. I want safety. And what I love about the story of Abraham is God didn't call Abraham to struggle. He called, or to suffer, really. I mean, he did struggle, but he didn't call him to suffer. It wasn't like God was trying to make him suffer. God was trying to remove him from safe, because he understood when Abraham is safe, Abraham becomes his own God. And I've seen that in my own life, where God is like, look, I'm going to remove you from this safe place or this comfort zone because I need you to rely on me, not you. Like, I need him, not me. You get it. That's one of the hardest processes to go through, because we want to be safe. I want to be comfortable. You know, when I was like 32, a young man, I had to make a decision. My family was growing. We were about to have our third child, and I needed to really settle down and get a career. So I decided, okay, I got 3 options. I can either be a fireman, I could be a police officer, or I could be a teacher. Now, obviously, looking at those 3, fireman, police officer, they're very unsafe, right? The safest option is a teacher. But I wanted to go for, I really wanted to be a fireman. I really wanted to, right? I was looking up all the videos and trying to figure out how I could do this. And I called, because at that time our city was going through like a fireman shortage. This is how crazy God is, how amazing he works. We were going through a shortage of firemen. I didn't even know that was possible. So I called the fire department. I'm like thinking, hey, I'm here. I want to be a fireman. They're going to be like, you know, we'll send the car to come get you, and you get the fast track and you'll become this fireman. They asked me why I want to be a fireman. I told them. It sounded fantastic. They asked me if I had education. I told them. They were like, okay, this is great. Then they asked me the question. They said, how old are you? And this is the first time in my life I have ever heard I was too old to do something. It shook me. I said, I'm 32. They said, whoa, whoa. I might have even heard a little chuckle. The lady said, I'm sorry, you can't be a fireman. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, the cutoff is like 34. You have to be 34 years old, but like you have to finish everything, all of your training, all of your classes, all of that before 34, then you could be a fireman, something like that. And I just remember being devastated. What do you mean I can't do this? That's all I wanted to do. So once that was off the table, I had to make a choice. Police officer, still very adventurous, still very dangerous, or a teacher. Again, I didn't want to go the teacher route. I wanted to go with something that I felt was exciting. Right? So I was thinking about it, talked to my wife, and she said, look, you know God has always had you working with young people. You need to be a teacher. All right, I'll do it. So I went and became a teacher, thinking that being a teacher was at least going to be the easier, the safer of the three options, right? Boy, was I wrong. My goodness. Being a teacher has stretched me more than I think being a police officer or a fireman would have stretched me in different ways. This is what I'm talking about, where God removing you from safe, because I was like, well, I know what I'm doing. I know how to work with kids. This is easy. Man, oh man. The calling to be a teacher, I thought was going to be the easier path. And it was not. It's been far from that. But it's been one of the most rewarding paths, because I realized at every single moment of struggle, of adversity, I see God show up in a greater way. Now, don't get it twisted. I've been teaching for quite some time now. But even though I've been teaching for, I think it's been 10, 11 years now, teaching is not a safe place. And I thank God for that now. Now I can look back and I can say, thank you that you constantly pull us out of that safe place, because you want us to grow. You know, a seed would not grow. I keep saying this, and I don't know if anyone gets this analogy, but if you could talk to a seed, I believe that a seed would say, are you out of your mind? You want to bury me in the ground. Then you want to put dirt on top of me. Then you want to submerge me in water. Then you want to leave me outside to bake in the sun. And eventually, after all of that pressure, I'm going to break. I'm going to crack. Nah, I don't want that. I'm not signing up for that. See, that was my mindset. It was like, God, I'll take the easy route. Since I knew I couldn't be a fireman, let me just take the easy route. I'll become a teacher. Look, bing, bang, 8 to 3, easy peasy. I get summers off. That will be the easy route. But God had different plans. I have worked with kids that have stretched me and challenged me and forced me to grow. So keep growing. Don't take the easy route. Understand that just because you're called to it doesn't mean it's going to be all easy. It's going to be a difficult road, but it's that adversity that's going to make you who you are. Again, while writing the Abraham mixtapes, there's this part that just, it's stuck in my head, and it says, I'm waiting on a whisper, but can I trust the sound? And I'm here to tell you, and I'll tell you every single time, you can trust God. You can trust his whisper. When he's saying go, go. It's not going to be easy. Don't expect an easy road, but expect him to show up with you every step of the way on that road. That's what makes it different. So, let's do it. I'm done with this. I'm out. Ready for Friday.